Okay, team, here we're going to look at the string method called join. I'll call help on it. It has self, which we don't pass because we're going to call it on a string, and that's the self part there. And then we need to pass it something iterable, like a list or a dictionary or a range. And the string whose method is called, so that's the thing before the dot, is inserted in between each given string. And they give us an example, actually, to run. So here I have a string, and then I'm joining those things, and it's going to put the dot between them. So if I run it, I get a string back. It didn't modify the original string, because we can't modify original strings, and it doesn't modify that list. All it does is it gives me a new string. Here's another example where there is my string that I'm calling the join method on. I pass it a list, and then it's going to put that in between each of the elements of the list. If I had other things in there, it would do the same thing. I can add another one. That's the big picture of join. I think it's weird because we usually call it with like a string literal dot join. And normally you're used to seeing something like s dot and then a method like upper. Next, we'll look at an example where it's useful, but it ends up being really useful when we use split with it. So let's look up how split works. Again, it's for a string. It doesn't take an argument, or it doesn't require an argument because it's got that slash there, but we can provide a separator and a max split like we saw in the earlier video. Okay, I've got an example here where I had that string with spaces and I called split on it. And remember, it just consumes however many spaces I put in it. And it could similarly, well, if I split it on that, then I just get one element back. But if I split it on a comma, then I get those three elements. Okay, but we're going to be looking at the case where I haven't provided an argument to split. And again, if none is provided, then we split according to any white space and discard empty strings from the result. Okay, so there can be ones at the end and we get rid of those two. Okay, now let me talk you through a scenario. I have this CSV file. Really, it's just a row in a CSV file, but it's nice because it doesn't have any extra spaces. So when I call split with the comma, I'm going to be able to get out the output list that has each of the things in between the commas in their own as their own element in a list. Let's look at that. Okay, it's a little confusing because the original had commas in it and I removed those. So now none of the strings have commas in it, but there are commas showing where one string ends and then the next item begins, just like we had above. Okay, so this comma is not part of the string, not part of the string, not part of the string. Okay, so this is our ideal scenario, but oftentimes that's not what things look like. Here I have a different example where I've named my variable CSV extra spaces, and you can see I've got a bunch of spaces around the commas. It's not how a CSV file is typically structured, where there's not sort of bonus spaces. And as you see, when I run this code, the strings that I get have a bunch of spaces in it, and that's kind of a pain. Like probably I just want the first thing and no other bonus spaces with it. Okay, on that first example, for the CSV extra spaces, I was splitting it by the comma. I'm going to start by splitting it with no argument. That'll split by spaces. And you can see what I get there. So I have first, no extra spaces, and then I have the comma, and then I have last, and then I have a comma, and then I have email, and its comma is with it, and then I have phone, and then I have a number. So it's kind of wonky because there were spaces around those two commas, they end up as their own item, whereas the comma there ends up as part of email. Okay, it doesn't look like I've made much progress, but I have sort of gotten rid of these extra spaces. What if I can take the text and join it back together? So now what I'm going to add is I'm going to add a line where I say an output string is going to be this output list, and I'll rename it list 1. And I'm going to join it. Here I put the string, dot join, and then the list I want to join. You can see what output list 1 is here. Rerun this. You can see output list 1 there. And we already saw join above. Let's scroll up to that. Remember, join took a list as the argument, and it was called on a string, and then it put whatever that string was in between each of the items in the list. Let's see if we can use join down here. Okay, first up, I'm going to print out. Oh, I want to print output string. Let's see what we get. So now my string looks like how the original one did. Do you remember that CSV ideal? That looks exactly like what I see as my output string. No spaces. I lost a space between phone and number. I'm going to ignore that for now. And I added 2 lines. So one is going to call split with commas on that newer version. And then I can print out what that looks like. And that is what I was originally trying to get. Something that's awesome and really frustrating is there can be all these sort of weird corner cases. So it can take a lot of creativity to figure out what order you need to do things in. But I hope here you got to see, okay, the main one is join. Here's how that works. And then we can combine it in more complicated ways using split or other things that modify the list, maybe slicing it.